About Donald Trump and the raison d'etre for going into this conflict with Iran. His base appears to be somewhat split over this latest show of strength abroad. President Trump launching into a war while he's facing some of the lowest approval ratings of his political career so far. And while a recent poll showed that just 1 in 4 Americans approved of his attack on Iran, it's not just the general American public. The war is also beginning to show some cracks in his diehard Make America Great Again base. With the fine analysis of this one, Monte Francis joins us here in the studio. Monte, great to see you as always.
Hey, Mark.
Donald Trump's whole ethos has been America first. So how is what is happening now going down with his diehard supporters?
Well, let's recall that Donald Trump ran for president the first time, promising to extract the U.S. from these so-called forever wars like the ones, in Iraq and Afghanistan. That was the whole idea behind America First. In just the first year of his second term, he has launched military operations in 7 different nations, including Iran. And now the U.S. finds itself in the midst of the largest military conflict it's had since the invasion of Iraq in 2003. And so that is perceived as a major contradiction among some MAGA diehards. Let me start by just showing you some poll numbers here. A recent poll by Reuters showed that just 27% of Americans approved of Trump's actions in Iran. However, that number is higher among Republicans, 55% approve. So he still maintains the support of a slight majority of Republicans and certainly most Republicans in Congress. I should note that that poll was taken before the announcement of U.S. casualties in war. We can already see that some cracks are emerging in Trump's MAGA base. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who we know resigned from office after clashing with Trump over the Epstein files, wrote on X, "I did not campaign for this. I did not donate money for this. I did not vote for this in elections or Congress. This is not what we thought MAGA was supposed to be. Shame." And Eric Prince, the Trump backer and founder of Blackwater, said in a post, "I'm not happy about the whole thing. I don't think this was in America's interest." He went on to say, "I don't see how this is in keeping with the president's MAGA commitment. I'm disappointed." Now, at the same time, there have been some MAGA people in the movement who've been supportive. Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville wrote on X, "President Trump has shown time and time again, you never threaten America. God bless our great troops. God bless President Trump, and God bless America." So Trump has famously said, "MAGA loves everything I do." That has been widely true. But even before this war, we started to see some, cracks emerging, especially when it came to the Epstein files and also the economy.
Okay, now, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio made some comments yesterday to explain the rationale for going to war, which really angered some members of the MAGA base. Tell us, Monty, what did Rubio have to say?
Well, so Rubio was asked why the U.S. was launching this attack now. What was the imminent threat? And he explained that the U.S. was aware that Israel was about to attack Iran, and that prompted action by the U.S. Let's just listen to what he had to say.
We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
Now, after those comments, several Republicans pounced. Republican House member Thomas Massie from Kentucky wrote this on social media: "The administration admits Israel dragged us into the Iran war that's already cost too many American lives and billions of dollars. Before it's over, the price of gas, groceries, and virtually everything else is going to go up. The only winners in the U.S. are defense company shareholders." And Tucker Carlson, the right-wing influencer who The Atlantic says met with Trump in recent weeks, trying to convince him Trump not to be pressured by Israel. According to The Atlantic, Carlson told Trump, "You need to stand up to Israel or else you're going to be destroyed and the country is going to be destroyed," adding, "Israel is a country of 9 million people with no resources. Why are we taking orders from them?" Carlson has since called the operation in Iran absolutely disgusting and evil.
Indeed, the concept of Israel deciding U.S. foreign policy is really one that takes some reckoning, isn't it? There also seems to be some confusion, not only among the MAGA base, but among the general American public about why Trump launched the attack in the first place?
Well, yes. Well, over the weekend, Donald Trump suggested this was about regime change when he encouraged the people celebrating the supreme leader's death to rise up and take over. But then yesterday, the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth came out and said this is not a regime change war. In fact, we've heard a range of rationales from the administration, including the charge that Iran was close to having an intercontinental ballistic missile that could reach the U.S. That has been widely debunked. Now, Matt Walsh, who's a conservative commentator and influential voice among Trump supporters, posted this. He said, so far we've heard that although we killed the whole Iranian regime, this was not a regime change war. Although we obliterated their nuclear program, we had to do this because of their nuclear program. And although Iran was not planning any attacks on the U.S., they also might have been, depending on who you ask. And although we are not fighting this war to free the Iranian people, they are now free, or might be, depending on who seizes power, and we have no idea who that will be. The messaging on this thing is, to put it mildly, confused. So, of course, Democrats are trying to seize on this with primaries underway in some states already, with the build-up to the November midterm elections. They're trying to portray Trump as someone more focused on foreign relations and starting wars abroad than solving problems at home, including those economic problems we've been hearing so much about.
Monte, thank you for bringing some clarity to the obvious confusion about many issues regarding what is happening, but clearly what is happening in Iran right now is something that is deadly and destructive. Monte Francis there with the explanation. Thank you so very much indeed. Great to see you. Monte Francis from our news desk.